On your Tuesday Footy Feed, Bomber on bail.
Do you have anything to say about the charges?
No, it's a big day and hopefully we get a chance to fight them, that's it.
Are you planning on pleading not guilty?
I've got no idea.
Mark Thompson, charged with drug trafficking, will cross for the latest. The amputation option Christian Petrarca may have had to consider after a dog bite infection. Shutdown job Ben Jacobs on his comeback from injury to become the game's premier tagger. And we hear from the bots on the price of fame. Good evening. Dual Geelong Premiership coach and Essendon Premiership captain Mark Bomber Thompson has been arrested and charged with drug trafficking offences. He's faced court this afternoon here in Melbourne. Mitch Cleary is there with the latest. Mitch?
Good evening, Matt. Mark Bomber Thompson has tonight been granted bail on 7 charges, including trafficking and drug possession at the Melbourne Magistrates Court behind us, and will front court in the coming weeks. Thompson was here for close to an hour alongside his ex-wife Annette and daughter Lauren, his head in his hands as he heard details of substances located in his bedroom in Port Melbourne alongside Geelong Premiership memorabilia. He was required to pay $20,000, will need to report to police 3 times a week, but will be allowed to leave on notice interstate if his football interests determine it. Matt?
Thank you, Mitch. Mitch Cleary reporting there from the Melbourne Magistrates Court. To other news now, and after spending 5 days in hospital with a dog bite that became infected, Melbourne's Christian Petrarca has revealed he could well have lost a finger. The Demon star still giving himself some chance of playing this week after being released from hospital this morning, telling reporters his finger could well have been amputated if he didn't act on the infection in time.
Like if I didn't see the doctor at the same time as what I did, then and I let it grow for a bit more, then yeah, that was an option, yeah. It infected the whole area and the nerve and the bone a little bit.
The Demons play St Kilda on Sunday. Petrarca doing all he can to prepare.
Yeah, look, I'm 50-50. I really want to play. I want to play every game, but it's up to the docs.
Meanwhile, at training, there was no sign of Jesse Hogan on the track this morning after his ankle injury on Sunday, while co-captain Jack Viney continues to build from his foot injury. Now, Richmond captain Trent Cotchin is in doubt for the Tigers' clash with Fremantle. Jen Phelan has the details for us. Jen, good evening to you.
Thanks, Matt. The gun midfielder is suffering from a sore right knee from an incident late in the fourth quarter against Collingwood. Cotchin slid in to stop Tom Phillips from kicking what would have been a remarkable goal and appeared to bang his knee into the goalpost. Scans on Monday cleared him of structural damage, but he remains sore, meaning he'll have to test it out later this week. Time is on his side. They have another 5 days until they play, but it will be the Tigers' 3rd game in 13 days, so a rest might not be out of the question anyway. On to the Pies, and the fallout from Sunday's game continues, with Brodie Grundy in doubt for their clash with Brisbane because of a shin injury. They'll definitely lose Ben Reid for multiple weeks because of an Achilles problem, while James Aish is looking at least 6 weeks out with a PCL issue that may require surgery. And just to cap things off, Captain Scott Pendlebury is off sick today, but he's expected to be right for Sunday's game.
OK, thank you, Jen. From ballet to the cut and thrust of the footy field, the return of North Melbourne midfielder Ben Jacobs has been one of the feel-good stories of the season, arguably now one of the competition's premier taggers. Jacobs talks to Footy Feed about recapturing his form after nearly 18 months on the sidelines. Nat Edwards has the story.
It was a hot spot in Jacobs' foot back in December 2015 that triggered a nightmare run. Countless setbacks, 4 surgeries, and a year and a half later, he finally made his return in round 1 this season.
Even though it was frustrating always being so close, it also gave me confidence that, it's not too far away as well. I've definitely missed being out there, and you do appreciate, how much you've missed it as well.
The journey back has been a roller coaster. The Roos taking radical action, reaching out to the Australian Ballet's head physio, Sue Mays, for help.
Seeing these petite little girls and they're doing all these calf raises and we can't even do half of what they were doing, and that kind of gave us a rude awakening, we need to work on this, and I think that was the big thing that made us knuckle down and actually hone into this kind of rehab.
It hasn't taken Jacobs long to find his feet on the footy field. Back to his negating best, he's already added ball magnet hawk Tom Mitchell to his growing list of scalps, making the coach a very happy man.
Have you seen that photo of Brad when you're coming down the race after the Hawthorn game where he's very excited, and you've seen that one? What are your thoughts on it when you saw it?
Oh, it's nice. Getting plenty of love.
And with the Roos facing the in-form Swans on Saturday night, his next target could very well be Sydney skipper Josh Kennedy.
But every week is so different because you go from guys that run a lot, are quick, to the bigger body midfielders. So every week's a challenge.
A beast at the stoppages, Kennedy will be hard to beat. The captain coming off 33 touches and 13 clearances against Geelong.
He's just such a consistent player, and he was always going to respond in the way that ultimately got us the win and drove us other fellas to help him along the way, which is really important.
The Swans once again will be without superstar Lance Franklin.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's obviously out there now, and his spirit's always high and always gets the boys up and about. But he'll be a bit of a miss. But obviously it shows that sometimes we don't need him, and we can kick goals other ways.
Dan Hanbury also to miss again with a groin injury, while Gary Rowan will play his 100th AFL game. Nat Edwards, AFL.com.au.
Western Bulldogs star Marcus Bontempelli has opened up about how his life has changed since becoming a household name. In a revealing interview on Melbourne radio, the 22-year-old talks about how he's still getting used to being revered by fans off the back of his side's 2016 flag.
You can sort of forget and just walk outside, and then all of a sudden it's right there. Because particularly after the premiership, just seeing myself places that I hadn't, like in pictures of myself places I hadn't seen them before, and that at times made me a bit edgy, because I at the same time wanted to continue to focus on football, but also you can't sort of escape the element of the profile that you get outside of it. So I think it's something I'm continuing and will always sort of learn to have to deal with, but it's always a learning curve.
The Bulldogs face Gold Coast in Ballarat on Saturday, and the Suns have suffered a double injury blow, with co-captains Tom Lynch and Stephen May both out of the game. Lynch is the more serious of the two. He'll miss a month with a knee injury.
He's experienced some aggravation in his right knee, so it's the same PCL that he had some issues with last year. So given the history of that, and we've decided to take a fairly conservative approach.
May will miss a week, having suffered an infection related to his broken finger. And St Kilda's Jake Carlisle says he's maturing as a person after a tumultuous transition from the Bombers.
Yeah, definitely is. I'm 26 now, so I feel like I'm very mature, and I've got a lot to give to these young guys coming through. With playing over 100 games in our footy. I sit pretty close with Spud Frawley and Henry Playfair in the back line, and just help guys coming through like Huey Goddard and Dara Joyce and Logan Austin to try and get better.
In search of their first win since round one, the Saints play Melbourne on Sunday. And that is the latest from the Footy Feed team this Tuesday. I'm Matt Thompson. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.